Guys, tonight we've got some special training. You know, we wanted to give you guys an inside look on what it was like at the November to Remember retreat. You know, one of our great leaders, Tommy Ooze out of Canada, Platinum 2000, soon to be Platinum 5000, says to me, hey, Luke Hessler dropped a sick training in the retreat. We need to get this out. And I said, you know what? You are on it. And he connected the dots. Luke was so quick to say yes. And I said, hey, Luke, I just want a few seconds on this call just to connect with all of the organizations that are here. And I want to share something with you guys that came to me, right? And it's led me to speak on it a couple of times. And I needed to bring this to you today. You know, when you guys think about building a team, we already dropped how many people it takes to hit Platinum or Chairman 10. I want somebody to put in the chat box right now, how many people does it take to hit Platinum 5,000? Somebody drop it in the chat box. Platinum 5,000, how many? 225, 225. How many for Platinum 2,000? How many for Platinum 2,000? How many for Platinum 1,000? How many for Platinum 600? How many for Platinum 150? Let me tell you guys something on this call today. Some of us here, you've got marketing experience. And when you say 12 people for Platinum 600, you're ready to run out because it's not a lot. And it's not a lot. There's 7 billion people on the planet, I believe is the current number, somewhere around there, right? 12 people is not a lot. But when you're going through life, a lot of people are maybe saying no. Maybe a lot of people quit on the business. Who here would agree that sometimes when you look at how many people you need to get to your next level, how many times does it feel overwhelming? Be honest. If you've ever felt overwhelmed about the goal of the amount of people you want to impact, it's so huge that you say, you know, man, I don't know if I could do it. It's just a lot. I want to give you a message today. Everybody on this call, including myself, because you know what? When you're a high-level leader like Mike Sotero, Luke, Christian Jukes, myself, Katie and Elaine, when you have hundreds and hundreds of people and it's like you need hundreds of more to impact so that you can take your family to that next level in the organization, it could seem daunting. Here's my only message today, very short and I'm done. I want you to focus on the one. I want you to focus on the one. Write this down. I'm only focused on the one. Who is the one? The one is the one next person you're bringing into your organization. It's not about the 30 for P1K. It's not about the 75 for P2K. I want you to focus on finding one good person. I want you to focus on finding a person, one open-minded person, one ambitious person, one person who wants it as bad as you, one person that refused to let life beat them up, one person who's willing to invest in themselves, one person with a positive attitude. I just want you to find one person. We get so caught up in, I got to find 30 people for P1K, 75 people for P2K. I need my 2. I just want my 2, that you find none. What if you were intentional about finding one person? Who here believes that they could find one person in the month of December? Drop a number 1 in the chat box if you believe you could just find one person, just one person who wants to make more money, just one person who will invest in themselves, just one person who will listen and be coachable, just one person. Now, when you find one, I'm not telling you to stop. Then you focus on finding one more. But I don't want you to get overwhelmed by how much is left to do, how many are left to impact. For those of us who believe in God, maybe you believe in something else, but you believe in something. With God on your side, you don't need to worry about all that. You need to find one more person. Maybe you need to do 10 calls for that person. Maybe you need to do 20 calls. But Steve Max, but Luke, but Christian, but Katie, I've talked to so many people, and your one is coming. Your one is coming. Your one is coming. What happens if you find one Mike Sotero? What happens if you find one Luke, one Christian, one Steve Max, one Katie and Elaine, one Tommy Ooze, and all of the great leaders on this call? What if that's your one? Guys, can I tell you something? I was somebody's one. And now he has an organization of 500 customers under him. He found the one. Now he's found more, but he found one. I just want you to find one. And when you find one, then you go find one more. Today, I want you to understand the power of one. I want you to not get overwhelmed by how much is left for P6, how much is left for P1. Oh, but this person dropped off, so I got to find another to replace them. No, you just got to find one good person. And when you find one good person, you go find one more. In December, I want you to focus on finding one. And then help that one find one, and you go find one more. And everything will make sense, and everything will come together in its appointed time. If you've gotten value from this, drop a 222 in the chat box if you've gotten value from this so far. That's all I wanted to say on this call. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was talking to one of my up-and-coming teams, and it just hit me, and I said, you know what? Find one person, man. That's it. I don't want you to have to go find 30 people. That'll happen on its own. Find one. When you find one, then you focus on finding one more. We get so caught up in so many numbers. It's so overwhelming. The power of one. The very next recruit, the very next customer could explode your organization. The very next person could thrust you to chairman rank. Believe it. Receive it. We're about to take this to the next level. Now, guys, at the end of this call tonight, we're going to give you guys something that's going to take your organization to the next level. We are going to triple these numbers in December, a month where most people quit. I believe that this was an ordained call, ordained to happen. We're going to double our organization, and we're going to announce it at the end of the call. Right now, we're about to bring up a giant in the industry. This young man, he is killing it, and he's been killing it. He's already done historical things in the realm of network marketing. He's also built things and businesses outside of network marketing. How many of you guys are enjoying that amazing funnel that we have on Facebook to impact people so that they can see the vision? Gentleman comes here, and him and his incredible wife, she hits ranks on her own. He hits ranks within a few months. Powerhouse. And what he's about to bring you is power. I want you guys to have your notebooks ready. I've got my notebook ready here. I want you guys to take notes. And do me a favor. Drop some 10s in the chat for soon to be Chairman 10, Luke Hessler. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
My freaking man, dude. I love Steve. I just love the energy. I need you to introduce me on every call I do for the rest of my life, dude. Seriously. I appreciate you, man. And wow, I'm so excited to be here, and I'm humbled, honestly, to be on calls like this with Steve, with Mike, with every single one of you guys from all over the country, all over the world. And what he just shared with you is the key. I'm telling you guys, when I built this thing from, when I first got involved in the industry, I was 19. I'm 28 now. I still look like I'm 19, but I was 28. I was 19 when I started, and now I'm 28. And when I first got started in this industry, I remember the one. I remember the one. I built it. I signed up 17 people immediately because, like, they're my fraternity brothers. They just joined. And then they all quit the next month because they thought they were going to be able to do nothing and make money. And then I failed. Like, I just did not find anybody that really saw the vision for like 5 months until I found this one guy. Well, I didn't know at all. I actually met him. He was working at Taco Bell, and he was the one person that saw the vision with me. And from that one person, his name was Jamie Cheerio, it exploded. I saw Jamie go from nothing to, he was making well over 6 figures, almost multiple 6 figures. And he did that in a 18-month span. And from that catalyst, over the course of 36 months, our team grew from like 15 people, 20 people, to where we literally put in over 30,000 over the course of 3 years. And it was after finding that one, you know, it was after finding that one. And so everything that Steve just said is so, so, so valuable. And so, guys, I'm excited to share this information. I'm gonna be jumping right into this stuff because this is a lot. You know, I'm gonna give you guys a lot here, and I gotta get through this thing in the time, because this announcement that we're gonna be sharing with you, I just learned about this announcement about 15 minutes before this call. Literally, Steve calls me. He's like, "Bro, you are never gonna guess what we get to announce on this call." I'm like, "What's up, dude?" He tells me, I'm like, "Holy crap! Christmas came early for the entire team." And so this is gonna be really, really exciting stuff that we're gonna get to announce. But until then, I'm gonna give you guys some important information that hopefully is going to be information that will take you from where you're at to where you guys want to be. Because my goal here is to be able to provide you with actionable data, actionable intel that you can then look back and say, hey, it was because of this call. It was because of this information that I was shared on this call that a shift occurred, that something changed. And you can literally look back on that moment, because I remember those moments, the moments where decisions are made, right? Where it's just something clicks and you're like, you know what? It's time. It's actually time to take this thing to a next level. My first moment that happened was at a physical event. I remember it. I was in San Diego, California. I didn't have any money. I barely could afford the plane ticket out there. We crammed in a room with like 10 of us. Literally, we went to Walmart to buy, we bought PB&J. We bought a bunch of bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And that's how we ate while we were there. And I remember seeing people who were making 6, 7 figures. I saw a guy who had made over $40 million in this industry. And that was where it clicked with me. Something changed. And from that moment on, my business, really went out there and took off. And so I pray today that this information is going to be that information for you guys here tonight. And it's going to be really powerful. So let's dive right into this thing, guys. So the name of this training is going to be How to Cast Vision and Become an Independent Leader. And this is going to encompass a lot. The depth of this topic that Mike actually gave me for our event is unbelievable. So here's the first thing, guys, is that as a leader, all right, as a leader, you have to first understand the situation that we're in. You got to understand reality, right? Like the first step in success is understanding where you are. Okay, and when you understand where you are, then you can learn, and you can learn more about where you want to go, and then you can actually get there. Think of it like a GPS, right? Where it's like, as a GPS, if you don't have your location on your phone, the GPS can never tell you where to go, because you don't actually know where you are. And some of you on this call may know where you really are, but others of you don't. And I'm talking about from a macro level. And this is going to be some powerful info. So this is some facts that I shared at the leadership retreat. 60% of Americans don't have $1,000 saved for retirement. Less than 40% could handle an unexpected $500 emergency. And these are statistics that I got from Tony Robbins' new book that just came out a couple months ago. But check this out. Let me actually share this thing and show you guys this. Can you guys see this in the chat? If you guys can see this, give me like a thumbs up or something like that. Can you see this Motley Fool article, in this chat? It is absolutely freaking nuts. Let's see here. It says sharing is paused. All right, no, okay, one sec. Let me stop the share and then reshare this, because this is crazy. This is updated data that I recently got access to. Okay, cool. Hopefully you guys can see it now. Throw it in the chat if you can. All right, perfect. So check this out. So this is the percentage of Americans with less than $1,000 in savings, and this was updated December 1st, 2021. And I want you guys to look at this. According from new data from whoever, it reveals that 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. That is almost 70%. I want you guys to imagine you're at a concert. I want you to imagine you're at a football game, a college football game with 10,000, 20,000, maybe you're at Cowboy Stadium, 70,000 people in it. And according to this data, 70% of those people, 70% of them have less than $1,000 in savings. And get this, worse yet, 45% of Americans, that's like 1 in 2, 45% have $0 in savings. $0. So what we're talking about right now, when we're looking at a reality from a macro perspective, is that 70% of Americans are broke. They're stuck. What they've been doing for the last, some of them 40, 50 years, because this is not just millennials, we're talking about adults. The plan that they've been following have led them to a point where they are broke and they are stuck and they don't know what to go out there and do, because if they knew how to get out of the situation, wouldn't they do something about it? Of course they would. No one wants to stay broke, so they don't know what they need to do or how they need to go out there and do it. And so that's what we get to solve, is that we get to help these people who are stuck, help these people who don't have options, help these people who are quite literally broke in one of the most uncertain times, as literally living on human history that we've ever experienced, and we get to provide with them hope. And this is really interesting, guys, because right now, most people think this is like a random thing, but I'm telling you, this is actually by design. You may have heard, I think it was DJ Khaled, was like, they don't want you to win, major keys. But I'm telling you, this is a fact, okay? And here's the reason I'm focusing on this, is that in life, you cannot solve a problem that you don't know exists, right? Imagine you're the captain of a ship, and that ship is just going perfectly. And from your view as a captain, everything's looking beautiful. It's looking nice. You have good wind, great weather, no waves. Like, everything is smooth. Everything is light. But you don't know that under the hull, there's a hole in the ship. And slowly but surely, that ship is gaining water, and it's gaining water, and it's gaining water, and it's slowly but surely beginning to sink. You see, you can't solve a problem that you don't know exists. And this is what most people are doing, is they're living in life, and they don't know that there's a problem. But the reality is, John D. Rockefeller, who is the creator of our education system, said this quote: "I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers." Think about that. I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers. AKA, they don't want you to be independent. They don't want you to be thinking for yourself. They don't want you to actually be looking at things objectively and realize that our power as a human being is that we are creators. We're literally made in the image of God. In our ability to think, our ability to look at things and change our perception, right? Like what Bob Proctor talks about. He talks about our perception, he talks about a will, he talks about the imagination, the higher faculties that we have, that we were born with, that make us different than dogs, that make us different than any other animal in the animal kingdom. They don't want us using that. They don't want us using our brain. They want us mindlessly following the plan that they have gone out there and shared. And this is a quote that really made it all hit home for me. This is so powerful. It was Harriet Tubman. She said this, and if you guys don't know who Harriet Tubman was, she created the Underground Railroad, which helped literally thousands of people escape slavery. Because at the time, before the Civil War, the South, slavery was legal, the North, it was illegal. And so what Harriet Tubman did is she created a system, a process, where slaves could go to certain checkpoints and then eventually be able to gain their freedom, because they'd go from the South to the North. And this is a quote that Harriet Tubman said, and it's so powerful. She said, "I freed thousands of slaves, but I could have freed thousands more if only they knew they were slaves." Think about that. I freed thousands of slaves, but I could have freed thousands more if only they knew they were slaves. You see, in life, you can't escape a prison that you don't know that you're in. And this is the challenge that most people don't understand, is that they're going through life and they're looking at the realm of possibilities. They're looking at their potential in their life, the car they could drive, the charities they could donate to, the places they could travel, the food that they can afford for their children, the schooling and the education system that their children can go over to afford. And they're looking at their life and they think this is normal. They think being an employee and having to show up at this certain time every single day and do these certain tasks for this little bit about amount of money, which is not enough for you to thrive, but not low enough for you to get angry and rebel. They think this is normal. You see, this is what's crazy, is that back in the day, slaves, all they knew was slavery, right? Imagine you're a slave during the Civil War. All you know generationally is slavery. If you were a black man or a black woman at that time, guess what? Your great-grandpa was a slave. Your grandpa was a slave. Your brother's a slave. Your sister's a slave. All of your friends are slaves. All you know in your mind, your identity is you're black, so you are a slave. That's it. And here comes Harriet Tubman coming down being like, hey guys, guess what? You don't have to be a slave. Just because you're black doesn't mean you're less of a person. We have every right, as all the white people do. Trust me, and I can show you freedom. I can show you how to get out of this system. I can show you how to be your own boss, how you can do what you want. And she's out here preaching this vision. But guess what a lot of the slaves said? They're like, what are you talking about? This is what I do. This is who I am. What do you mean freedom? Like, what do you mean? I could own the plantation, not be the one working on it? Like, you're crazy. You're crazy. Because in life, you don't know what you don't know. This is powerful stuff. Okay, and if you guys, I don't know this if you know this, some of you maybe do, but do you guys know how an elephant is trained? If you guys go to a circus, you see these 2-ton elephants, huge elephants, right? And what's holding them in place? It's literally just a rope that's tied around their leg that's connected to a stake in the ground that's like banged in it. And this is a 2-ton elephant, right? I mean, let's be realistic. That thing could take one step and it could, boom, pull that stake out of the ground, and this elephant is free to go. And I think we all agree, the elephant doesn't want to be sitting there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't want to be. So why doesn't it take another step? Why doesn't it try? And the reason is this, is because when that elephant is a baby, it was not a rope and a stake that this thing was connected to. You know what it was? It was a giant steel shackle that was connected to a large piece of concrete in the ground. And what would happen is when that elephant was young, it would get tagged to that, and it would try to pull away and try and struggle and try and get free. And it would pull and pull and pull. And guess what would happen? They'd feel the tug on their ankle, and there was no way to get free because of this shackle, this steel shackle connected to this giant piece of concrete. So then what happens is one day, the elephant stops trying. It stops trying to gain freedom. It accepts its reality. And that's the day the elephant is considered trained. And so now you see a 2-ton elephant that could, if it wanted to, take a step and be free forever. But the moment it moves and it feels pressure around its leg, it stops trying to pull because it's been reminded, oh, that doesn't work. So it never tries. You see, you can't escape a prison that you don't know that you're in. And I'm telling you guys the truth. The reality is everyone in this world, especially in the United States of America, we have every right to the abundance that the rest of the world has. And that all the 6 figures, the 7-figure earners, you have every single right to the abundance that they have. We are all human beings. We're made in the image of God. But guess what happened? Sometime in your life, you got beat down and you failed and you know, something negative happened in your life. And in your mind, you identified yourself as someone who, oh, this is the position that I'm in. But here's the reality is that instead of replaying your past, where you say, oh, this is where I've been, so this is who I am, what you need to begin doing is pre-playing your future. You need to realize that you are just as good as Mike Sotero, that you are just as good, all right, as Max the Mentor, that you are just as good, all right, as Elaine and as Katie and as Christian and as Jason Brown and as Matt Rosa. You are the same thing. You are a human being. You have just as much power, just as much potential as they have. It's the truth. But the difference between them and you is that they woke up. They became aware of their power. They realized one day, I'm an elephant. I'm tied here. But wait a second. I could just take a step and pull this stupid stake out of the ground, and I'm free. And they realized that. And that's why they are free. And so this is really what we do here. We are like almost like an underground railroad of the 21st century, in the sense that if you ever look up the synonym for the word employee, look it up in the dictionary, you know, Google it right now, synonym for the word employee. You know what it says? It says slave next to it. And I'm just going to be honest with y'all today, because they asked me to be honest. So I hope I don't offend anybody here. And I just want to be honest. If you're an employee, it doesn't make you any less of a person. Everyone's got to do what they got to do for money. And in today's day and age, the fact that you even have a job is a blessing. It really, really is. However, that's not freedom. When someone tells you what to do, when to show up, if you're late, you're fired. You have to ask permission to go to the bathroom when it's not your break. This is not freedom. This is not what we were designed to do as human beings. This is a form of modern day slavery. But guess what? Most people don't know that they're in this, because guess what? The grandparents were employees. Their grandparents were employees. Their mom's an employee. Their dad's an employee. Their brother, their sister, all their friends are employees. So when someone comes around and saying, hey, you can be a millionaire, you can have time freedom, you can have financial freedom, you can do what you want, when you want, however you want, 6 Saturdays, 1 Sunday, right? You can do this. You know what they say? They say, oh, you're crazy. That's reserved for those special folk. The same thing that people would say to Harriet Tubman when she said, hey, you could be free. Guess what? You could be the owner of the plantation and not the worker on it. So what are you talking about? That's reserved for those white folks. That's reserved for them. But in life, you don't know what you don't know. And you can't escape a prison that you don't know that you're in. So the first step is becoming aware of this and realizing the biggest thing holding you back in your life, the reason you're not a chairman, the reason you're not a seven-figure earner, the reason you haven't made your goals become a reality and you're driving in your dream car and living in your dream house and having your dream lifestyle is 100% you are in a mental prison that you probably didn't even know existed until now. And you've been playing small. You're the elephant that right when you try and go and make a move, you feel fear pulling on your ankle. Fear of criticism. Oh, what if they say this? Fear of failure. What if I look stupid when I go all in and then it doesn't work out? And these fears are what are the equivalent of that shackle that we feel. And it reminds us of past experiences in our life where we wanted to get out and we wanted to get to that next level, but we didn't know how. And it didn't work out for us. And we remember that pain, so we don't even try. But I'm telling you guys today, you have the power, you have what it takes to get to that next level. And realizing this is the most important thing, period, end of story. And so if you guys get nothing else from this entire call, I hope you understand that you do have the power. You do have what it takes. You actually can have, be, or do anything that you want in your life. And I'm telling you this from experience. I was a frat rat. Okay, I'm from a tiny small town with 15,000 people in northern Michigan. I was a frat rat at Michigan State University. I majored in partying and minored in international business. Okay, I should not be living the life I live now. I shouldn't. But I realized my power. I realized my potential, and I was willing to believe in myself. And I was willing to put myself out on the limb. I was willing to look stupid. I was willing to look dumb. I was willing to take a temporary loss of social esteem from ignorant people in order to live the life of my dreams and get to where I wanted to get to. That's the difference. That's the difference. And every single one of you guys can do the same thing. So let's roll, guys. Let's get to this next one. So the key questions and what I'm going to be sharing with you guys here today is, can you do it? Can you escape? Can you actually get to the promised land? Which to me, time, financial freedom, that's what it is. Can you actually do it here with I Am Academy? And the second thing is, okay, if it's possible, if I actually can do it, is it worth it? Is it worth the risk to go out there and make that thing happen? Those are some questions that we're going to talk about here today. So here's the thing, guys, is that if you want to be able to cast a vision to your team, which was the main topic of this call, is you first have to have a vision. You cannot cast a vision that you don't first have. And the company has got such a beautiful vision. It is unbelievable what this company has. You see, our vision as a company is to educate, empower, and enrich the lives of 1 million people in 2021. And if you actually believe that is going to happen, I want you to go and put 7s in this chat box and blow this thing up. And I will tell you from experience, I would not doubt Christopher Terry. I would not doubt Jason Brown. I would not doubt Matthew Rosa. I would not doubt Mike Sotero. I would not doubt Alex Morton, because in 2016, guess what? I did. I did. And I was wrong. When I first got introduced to this company, I was business partners with Alex in a previous venture. I was his top earner in that company. And there were 1,600 members in this company. And I was like, they were teaching me this vision. I'm like, there's no way it works. And then I saw it work. In 2016 to 2020, I saw this company go from 1,600 members to over 350,000 members. I saw it having from one 6-figure earner to over 400 people becoming a 6-figure earner. I saw it going from having 0 7-figure earners to now over 35 7-figure earners. And I'm telling you guys the truth. It's much harder to go from 1,600 members to 350,000 than it is to go from 350,000 to 1 million. Because you have proof of concept. You know it's real. You know it works, right? Think about it from the perspective of the Underground Railroad. If you're the first person to go down the Underground Railroad, that's pretty scary because you don't know if it actually works. You know, like some person that you don't know says, hey, you can be free, just follow me. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of like, you're crazy, right? But then when you see other people do it, your friend does it, and then your sister does it, and then this person does it, you realize it's possible. And so it's so much easier to believe and be that next person. And so for me, I don't doubt these guys because I did it once and I was miserably wrong. Okay, I was miserably wrong. And I'm telling you the truth is every blessing ignored is a curse. And to be involved in this company at this time is a blessing. And if you don't do anything about it, you will look back and ask yourself, what if for the rest of your freaking life? And I'm telling you this stuff, it is from experience. So here's the next wave, is that from 2020 to 2021, according to the leaders of our company who've been right basically every time, it's going to go from 350,000 to 1 million. So just do some simple math. If you add 650,000 members to this academy, which is required in order for this to, get to 1 million, that means you need to multiply 400 six-figure earners into 1,000 six-figure earners. That means instead of 35 seven-figure earners in this company, there will be 100 plus seven-figure earners in this company. And the reality is that Chris doesn't care who they are. He doesn't care who they are, but they're going to be somebody. So my question is, why not you? Why not you? So here's the thing, is that you have to have a vision for you and your team. That's what the company's doing. That's where they're going to be, with or without you, with or without me, with or without, anyone on this call. Elaine, Katie, Steve, Andrew, Jukes, anybody on this freaking call. This is going to happen without us. But what is your team vision? You see, how big of that slice of pie do you want? There's going to be over 600 new six-figure earners created and over 65 new seven-figure earners. How big of a slice of a pie do you want? Do you just want to be one of them? Do you want to create them in your team? Are you even hungry, right? You have to decide this. So you have to ask yourself these questions. Will you be one of the 100 six-figure or one of the 100 seven-figure earners? Will you be one of the 1,000 six-figure earners? Or will you be one of the 1 million who makes an excuse and doesn't do it and blames COVID or blames the economy or blames their upline or blames the systems or blames the product or blames all of these stupid things that are not actually real? All right, there is someone making this happen. I just got news that there are people in Argentina right now who are hitting ranks. They're going through a hyperinflation. Literally, their currency is disappearing. And there are people hitting chairman. Are you kidding me? If someone in Argentina, where they're experiencing a hyperinflation, can hit chairman, and you're telling me here in America you can't? That's craziness. It's literally insanity, okay? What we can do here is that we can squeeze a 40-year plan of working into 1 to 3 years. I want you to really understand this. I'm talking about if you don't do this and you follow the plan that they give you, you will be working until the day you die. Warren Buffett said it. If you don't figure out a way to make money in your sleep, you will work until you die. That's the alternative. That's the alternative. Stay on the cotton field, picking the cotton. Fine, that's fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. Or you can own the cotton field. You can own the plantation. You can be free. We're talking about taking a 40-year plan of working and squeezing it into 1 to 3 years. We're talking about being able to do what you want, when you want, however the heck you want to go out there and do it. And this actually could be your only real shot at becoming a millionaire. I mean, how many times are you going to actually get a shot? How many times are you actually going to be at the right place at the right time with the right people? Not very many times in your life. And so what you got to do is you got to realize, recognize, and take massive action and realize that, again, every blessing you know is a curse. You are here at the right place at the right time. What are you going to do about it? That's it. That's the question you got to ask. And so this is the key, is first you get your vision for your team. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to go and create. That's step number one. You got to get that vision, okay? And what does it take to make that vision become a reality? So let's say you commit. I'm going to be one of the seven-figure earners. I'm going to be one of the six-figure earners. Whatever you're going to be, this is what it takes to make it work. Number one, unshakable belief. Number two, a magnificent obsession for 12 to 36 months. This is all it takes to get anything you want. This is what it takes, okay? So unshakable belief. What do you have to have unshakable belief in is a question here. And I'm going to go through this stuff pretty fast. And I think we're recording this, so all good if you guys don't get all of it. But I want you to really listen and understand this. What does it take unshakable belief in to be able to find success? 3 things. Number one, you have to have unshakable belief in the network marketing industry. You have to. You got to know that network marketing works. Number two is you have to have unshakable belief in the company. And I Am Mastery Academy, is this actually the best company in the best industry in the world? And then number three is that you have to have unshakable belief in you. Let me ask you a question. If you could restart today, and you could enroll under anybody could be your sponsor, right? You could work with anybody. You could work with Morton, you could work with David Amotia, you could work, with Jason and Matt directly, you could work with Sotera, whoever, anyone. If you could choose to be enrolled by anybody in the company, would you choose yourself? because that's a key. It's like you need to become who you want to attract. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this and how this actually works. But this is an important thing. Okay, this is an important thing. So what does it mean to have unshakable belief? And this is what it means, is that you know what you know, and no one can tell you otherwise, no matter what. Okay? And if you're on this call right now, 240 people, it's highly likely that there are people in here that are religious, right? Some of you may be Christian. I personally I'm Christian. Some people on here may be Muslim. Some of you guys, may be atheists. Some of you guys, may be agnostic. I don't know. But it's highly likely with this many people on the call, there are these beliefs here. And so let me just tell you, let me ask you this. If you are Christian, is there anything that someone can tell you, any logic, any information, any evidence that they could tell you that Jesus Christ is not the Son of God? Is there anything they could tell you? And the answer is, I hope, no, right? Like, no, I know this, and there's nothing you can tell me to prove me wrong. I know what I know, period, end of story. That is unshakable belief, where it doesn't matter what others say, it doesn't matter what others think, it doesn't matter what any of the outside external circumstances, how many people quit on your team, how many times you have to rebuild, how many accounts that you go and blow. None of that matters. You have unshakable belief. There's nothing no one can tell you. That's what it means. And you got to have that type of confidence, that type of belief in the industry, the company, and in yourself. Okay? And let's dive into this. So here's powerful. And I gotta scroll through this a little bit quicker so that we can get to the end of this thing in time. But a complex interdependence. And this is something I'm not going to take a ton of time to experience, but this is the thing, because it's a long story, but this is the thing that got me into network marketing. It was the fact that when I first got on the call, I was asking myself, can I trust that person? Are they actually giving me the right information? Because in business, that's not how it goes. The people who are the most successful, the billionaires, they don't want to tell you how they got there because it creates competition for them, right? It makes their life harder. So then why would they want to share it with you? But what I understood in this particular industry is that there's a complex interdependence, meaning that the only way you can help yourself is by helping others. Let's take, for example, Mike Sotero, all right? Is Mike Sotero a person who genuinely wants to help other people, who cares about them, who's on like the light side of human nature, where he just wants to see people succeed and he gets fulfillment from that? Or is Mike Sotero someone who's on the dark side of human nature, where all he cares about is himself and profit and making more money? Which side is he on? Here's the reality in this business is it doesn't matter. The only way Mike can get what he wants is by helping you get what you want. You don't make $1 until you help other people make a dime. So it doesn't matter if Mike's over here thinking about, I just want to get rich himself, or if he's over here being like, I want to help people, I want to free them, I want to empower them. The only way he gets what he wants, either way, is by helping other people. Imagine this is how society was set up. America, in order to succeed from a government perspective, had to help the United Kingdom, who had to help Russia, who had to help China, who had to help North Korea. America would never bomb North Korea because that would hurt China, or that would hurt China, which would hurt Russia, which would hurt the UK, which would hurt America. So by hurting others, they'd be shooting themselves in the foot. You see, if this philosophy, if this system was in place from a government perspective, we would have world peace. We would. Because the only way you get what you want is best for your country is by helping other countries get what they want. This is the genius behind this business model. I actually wrote a paper on this my sophomore year in college, and I 4-pointed the paper. I ended up getting an independent study studying the potential of this business model in the 21st century. I saw so much potential that I dropped out and I became a full-time network marketer, and then by the time I was 21, I hit multiple 6 figures. I'm like, this works. I'm helping other people make money. This is great, okay? And so that philosophy is very deep, and there's a lot more to that, but that's the basics. And you don't get that in any other industry, because other industries, they don't want to give you the juice. They don't want to help you win because it hurts them. It creates more competition. You know what I'm saying? But in this industry, the only way you can help yourself is by helping others. So it eliminates the need to trust. Right? In this industry, do you have to trust whether or not the educators are giving you out the right trades? They're not going to give you trades where you're going to purposely fail. Why? Because if they fail, they get fired, right? So they're financially incentivized to help you. To help themselves, they have to help you. This is genius, okay? It is literally genius. And so the facts of this industry is that it has been around for 100 years. It's a $200+ billion industry. It's created more millionaires than anything else other than in professional athletics. Amway, Avon, Tupperware, Mary Kay, multiple billion-dollar companies that had momentum before technology. All right. The reason that people hear network marketing and are like, ew, is because the industry got a bad rep because those companies back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, when they hit momentum, is they would sell a dream for tens of thousands of dollars sometimes, but they provided no resources. I mean, imagine this. It's the 80s. There's no cell phone. There's no internet. There's no Zoom. How do you recruit? How do you network? You literally cold market. You go to a nice neighborhood, you put all your products in the back of your car, and you go knock on the door and you say, hey, my name's Luke Hessler. I'm with Amway Corporation. Can I have a minute of your time? And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to preach you this dream of freedom and how you can be your own boss and how you can work on your own time and how I can right, Harriet Tubman, I can get you out of slavery, get you to the promised land. Trust me. And then they say, okay, I'm down. And then they say, okay, great. It's $10,000. Buy all this product. And then they say, okay, great. And they buy the products and then they put it in their garage. And then the person leaves. Maybe they give them a couple brochures and things like that. But now you can never text me. You can never call me. You can never video call me. There's no Facebook groups. There's no Zooms. It's like, what the heck is even going on, right? I mean, I would feel scammed too. You see, what happened was generationally, this perspective was passed down. Grandparents told their parents, parents told their kids, and now it brings us to where we're at today. But the challenge is that there's an education gap. Most people, when they hear network marketing, they think pyramid scheme. Why? Because they don't know there's a difference between a legitimate company and a pyramid scheme. They don't know that there is some sort of public delusion going on. And that's the challenge, is that there is public delusion happening. And this is our opportunity. Because if everyone understood what we had, they would do what we do. And because they don't, that's the reason the company is not at, how much? It's not at $1 billion yet. It's because they don't know, but they will know. And that's our chance to enlighten them, to educate them, to share with them. Does this make sense to you guys? So this network marketing industry is freaking powerful. All right? It is powerful. One second. What's up? Okay, got it. All right, guys, so we're going to fly through this real quick because we got to get to the end of this thing. So the second thing you need to have is you got to have the company, okay? So if you know the industry is legit, you know the industry is the move, then what you got to go out there and do is you got to know that you're in the right company, right? So if you know you're in the best industry in the world, now how do you know if you're in the best company? Just look at the freaking statistics. One of the largest online financial education platforms in the world. It's been on for 7 years. We have over 300,000 members, all right? We have 200 plus countries, 150 6- and 7-figure educators in 16 different languages, 400 plus 6-figure earners, 35 7-figure earners. We have the number 1 Black earner in the industry, the number 1 Latino earner in the industry. We have the top 5 earning millennials in the industry. We have 8-figure earning customers. We have the best compensation plan in the world. We have the best leadership in the world. It is the best company in the freaking world. Check the facts, okay? So that is the final thing that's the second thing you need to learn in, and I'm just getting notes. I gotta wrap this thing up now, so I'm not gonna be able to go into as much depth as I would like to on this final piece, but I'm gonna give it to you guys anyways. All right, yourself is the third piece. So here's the reality is that in life, whatever's been done can be duplicated, right? The man at the top of the mountain didn't fall out of the sky. He did something to be able to get there. He took a certain route. And so what you have to do is identify people who have been to the top and then figure out what their route is, right? And they talk about these concepts, whatever the mind can conceive and get itself to believe you can achieve, and all these different quotes. These are coming from the most powerful people in the world because they understand that the mind is the future. And remember how they train the elephant. It's stuck there, not because it physically doesn't have the ability to break through or because it doesn't have the desire to be free, but because it's been trained mentally to think that it can't. And that's the reason it's stuck. And so I want you to remember, every chairman was once a customer who refused to quit. Alex, I remember him when he was making $2,000 a month, walking around, ASU campus, throwing orange Verve cans to people. I remember when Jason and Matt were struggling in the first company, barely could pay their rent. Matt had to live in his car with his girl. All right, I remember Mike Sotero trying to break through that ceiling at executive and couldn't quite break through. And now look at him. I remember when Christian Jukes started, he didn't even have any money. He had to sell his freaking Jordans, his Jordans, his Dre Beats, and it was one other thing that he had to sell to be able to even get started. I met him literally. I remember I met Jukes at 7 a.m. in a freaking McDonald's after an event, and he signed up with all the money that he had. Okay, and it was Kanye West who said, we are all superheroes in life, but doubt is our kryptonite. Doubt is what keeps you in the prison. Doubt is where you're at. And so I need you to imagine what you would feel like if you were a chairman.
All right, that is the key. And people say, oh, I'll feel that way when I'm a chairman. No. You'll be a chairman once you feel that way. You have to get there mentally first, and then physically everything else begins to attract. And again, I wish I had more time to dive into this and really how it works in the science, but I just don't. And so we're going to keep rocking through this. And so, all right, final thing, guys, is that all right, if you don't have a vision, it's the blind leading the blind, they all fall apart. So you got to get this vision. You need to go and ask yourself a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your belief level that you'll be a chairman in the next 12 to 6 months or 12 to 36 months? What is it? Be honest with yourself. And your goal is to make it be a 10. And if it's not a 10, it's because you don't have belief in the industry, you don't have belief in the company, or you don't have belief in yourself. And you have to identify that. And when you identify what it is, you can talk to people about it and they can help you overcome those beliefs, because it's just an education gap. That's literally all it is. And then once you see it, your goal is then to help others see what you see. And when they see what you see, they will do what you do. And your job as a leader is to believe in them until they believe in themselves. I believe in all 240 people on this call. I know it without a shadow of a doubt. Every single one of you guys has what it's take to be a chairman. There is literally no doubt in my life, in my mind, that you can go out there and do it. And your job for these people is to be a personal trainer. You want to help them believe in them, that they can change their life. You want to help them gain clarity on exactly what they have to do every day in order to make it happen. And then you hold them accountable to do what they say they were going to do. And if you can put those ingredients together, you can help someone go from Taco Bell to 6 figures. You can help someone go from living in their car to helping create millionaires. You can help people be able to get out of the freaking prison that we're in, gain freedom, go from freaking picking cotton and to be able to own the plantation themselves. This is what we actually can go out there and do. And so again, guys, I apologize for going a little bit late. And I wish I could go into more details of this stuff, but you got a little glimpse of it. And now what I want to do is I want to go out there and give you guys the greatest gift. All right. The information I gave you is a good gift, and I hope it changes. But now we're going to pour a little bit of gasoline on that fire. And this is going to be crazy. So we talked about an announcement. We talked about huge things happening, and this is what this is going to be. I learned about this 15 minutes before this call, and it gave